one thing you mentioned, and David did too, that these people had multiple previous approvals in these categories. So like if the L1 requirement for executive and the EB1C green card version are the same, and but they won't allow you to argue that you've had multiple L's approved, but that's different than E1C. It's a different kind of thing. But when the standards are the same, how is there any consistency in these adjudications that you could differentiate that? If 3 officers already approved one thing, and the green card, it's not like O1 to EB1A, which is a higher level. The L1 and the E1C are essentially the same category. From my reading, I got to see the regulations again, but I don't see any difference from those.
Yeah, well, so we have 2 L1 lawsuits that we filed right now for other attorneys, and these are, one of them is, this is a second extension, right? So there's a new office that got like the 1 year. They extended for the additional 3 years, and now they're extending again, and now they're saying, oh yeah, you're not in an executive position, right? So it's not only what you're saying, but it's even more egregious, because it's not even a difference. It's the exact same code.
They're questioning the prior approvals without actually questioning the prior approvals.
Yeah. So, and they actually, in this one, they did note in their decision, that whatever the memo was that came out saying, oh yeah, we can, reevaluate everything. Yeah. But the argument that I've made in the complaints about on the O1s and now for these L1s is, this is a, prima facie evidence that they have changed the standard, right, without going through the comments period, without anything. That either they've changed some sort of policy without going through the normal process, or they've elevated the standard of evidence, and all of that is abuse of discretion. And so that's the argument that we're making, but they are doing that a lot. We also, our second L1 that we're suing over is somebody who applied for an L1 for an office that was already here, not a new office, approved for 3 years. Because for business needs, she actually had to go back to South Africa, where she was originally located. And now they want to bring her here again. And so, she actually did this pro se, her application. It's exactly the same as the first one, right? I mean, the position she had in South Africa and the position she has here are identical, because it's the same person doing the same thing over again. And so we made that same argument again. But yeah, they're not admitting to this clearly, but like, they are changing the standard. And it's really easy to demonstrate, particularly with L1 versus L1.
It's either a lack of training for the adjudicators, or it's a policy decision. Either one is not appropriate, and David is hammering them on it.
Thank God. Is there a way we could FOIA this? Because there's got to be emails going back and forth that shows that they're changing the standard voluntarily.
Or FOIA for the statistics, and just show, hey, 5 years ago you issued 10% RFEs. Now you're denying 55% of cases.
How are things that different? What is the process, and how much does it cost? I'm down to put some money in the group and assume on this, because this is just ridiculous lack of consistency.
Somebody is doing this right now, definitely I think for the L1, there was somebody on one of the listservs who's doing this, who's like already somewhat into it. I've been planning to do it for the O1s, and I've just been like spending so much time on these other lawsuits, I haven't had time to do it. But yeah, FOIA, it's something that
I've done FOIAs, and David, I know the unknowns, like when you haven't done your first lawsuit, how hard. The FOIA itself is only a couple of pages long. And if you're making the request in your own name, it's fairly straightforward. It's all about crafting the scope of your request. And I'm happy to do it, to work with you on how to draft it. But whatever our area of expertise is, whether it's O or L or H, if we can all do one RFE, one FOIA on those, and share the response with Ayla and with everyone else, then we can all kind of bootstrap it up.
I work with the nonprofit, and if the nonprofit files it based on their mission, there's no extra fees to once it's produced, because they might come at you like, well, it's $10,000 for us to produce it. You're like, oh man, but a nonprofit could do that. So I have that handy and ready to go too.
I've done FOIAs before and I've never been charged, and they have the option to charge you. But I mean, if you're not asking for a million pages, like if you're actually asking for data, then they can often just produce it to you.
Interesting. So that's something we got when we go offline. We got to plan out because it's about time. This is like so ridiculous how to deal with this.
Yeah, we do need to do that because there's clearly, just like in the H-1B scenario, there's something. It can't be coincidence that they're denying every single L1, RFing every single L1 right now.
Yeah.